Well, here we are, bitching about 76. To get started, we have to say, I don't really hate the game. There are a lot of fun aspects to it. There is a lot of fun to be had. I love having another essentially damn near a couch co-op that I can play with my little brother. But there are some serious flaws with the game that just make it infuriating, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I would.
So, I want to start at what I think is the least annoying. It's the one that you tend to find yourself getting most used to. And it's the system lag. Now, I don't play a lot of MMOs, but what ones I have played, case in point, like Borderlands and Borderlands 2, there was like no lag. You pulled the trigger, the bullet went out, and the enemy took damage and died immediately, or you missed. I mean, that's just the way it worked. In 76, though, I pull the trigger, and there's at least a few frames where I'm wondering, did I hit, and did he actually die? You know what I mean? Do you get that? Or is that just on my system because I don't have a Pro?
No, it's even on the Pro, and the lag is there, but as you said, that's one of those things you get used to really fast.
I mean, it's really annoying for the first couple minutes, but yeah, you do get used to it, but it's still always there for me. For me, I always notice it, I just get used to it, and I kind of just stop internally bitching about it for the most part. I don't know, that's just a little thing, that's not game breaking, it's just, I kind of feel like Bethesda's using servers from 1995 rather than servers from even 2005 would be nice. But moving on, your big complaint was the leveling system on the enemies.
The leveling system on the enemies combined with the weapons leveling.
We'll get to the weapons leveling. Let's stick with the enemy leveling first. My big problem, let's recap the Yao Guy incident. We had just spent a good 30-40 minutes killing everything from Scorched to Super Mutants to a couple of those honeybee ants. And the honeybee ant did absorb some ammo, but it wasn't anything that I deemed unreasonable. I put a round down range, and you would see a noticeable tick in the HP of the ant. You put a round down range, and keep in mind, we use ballistic rounds. Just things like, our lever action 45s and our single action 44s, 308 bolt actions, double barrel shotguns. Yes, I understand they're not laser or plasma weapons, but, they're just our preference. And yet, we go from dropping fools left and right. We walk a quarter of a mile up the road into a little camp, and we get beset upon by 3 Yao Guy, each drastically different in level. We had a level 16. The first one was what?
The first one was a level 42 albino Yao Guy.
And then, right after that, popped out a level 20-something...
26.
Stunted Yao Guy. I remember that. That's stunted. And then a level 16 plain Yao Guy. And yet, no matter how many rounds I let loose from any one of my guns, 1 pixel of HP, each bear. It was like their HP was all combined together somehow. I don't know. I died inside of a minute, or twice inside of a minute, I'm sorry. And I rage quit. So my dumbass failed to capture any video of it, and I failed to remind you to capture a video. So, how did that fight go for you when I left? Because when I left, there was a bear on fire chasing me.
So by the time that I finished up with those 3 bears, the level 42 was the first one to drop, followed by the level 26, followed by the level 16.
And what were you using?
For the most part, I was using my Perfect Storm, the 10mm SMG that throws literal fire.
It's a great little gun. You get it way early in the game, but, it's still a good little gun.
It's a bullet hose. I try not to use it too often because of its bullet hose tendencies. Case in point, I went through over 300 rounds of 10mm on the 3 Yao Guy. There's no reason that a bear covered in fur being set on fire isn't staggered. Taking that many 10mm rounds, not a single one of those hits managed to stop any of the attacks.
And during that fight, another one of my most favorite problems, hint hint, is the damn favorite wheel. So first, there's the general mechanic of it. We are on console. If we were on a PC with a mouse and a little scroll wheel, that would make perfect sense to have that click your scroll wheel, roll, click again, and there's your item. No problem. I could see that going super fast for PC guys. But for everyone on a console, you have to push a button on one side of the controller, use the opposite stick, hope you get your angles lined up right because god damn that thing's sloppy as crap, and then hit a third button to execute the switch. Why can't we just go back to how the old favorite system was? You had 3 options on the D-pad for each direction. We don't need a hotkey for stim packs. Let us assign our own hotkey. We don't need a hotkey for emotes. I don't even use them because 9 times out of 10, I don't understand what the hell they are. People will emote and 1, they're always some low-level person. Or 2, it's the standard here, follow me. Okay, well that one's easy enough.
You know, having the emotes in the game doesn't irritate me because there are times when you're playing and you're not able to use a mic. I get that. What irritates me with the emotes is at the end of the day, they're 2 on the same stupid favorite wheel that the favorite wheel is. And as stated, when using a controller, the joysticks are not ideal for picking which of the emotes you want to use, let alone in a quick manner.
Especially when you're talking about filling up the screen with this wheel of either A, your little Vault Boy icons, or B, the favorites items. It's like, hey, I'm in the middle of a fight. I don't need this blocking my screen if all I'm trying to do is switch to what I know is a fully loaded weapon that I haven't used in a minute. I should be able to go click, 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 execute, and put my rifle away and pull out my double barrel shotgun and just start going again without having any interruption in my vision. But instead, what do you get? Push up, huge wheel, hope you have time to scroll through it or remember exactly where you left that one item you've been wanting.
And that your quick gesture with the joystick actually is at that right location.
Yeah, you have to be dead accurate with it. That's the favorite wheel and our least favorite thing about it. Another problem that we have with this game is what I like to refer to as the complete lack of feel of history. I am not from Boston. I'm going to reference Fallout 4 here. I am not from Boston. I have never been further east than Louisiana. But I can tell you one thing. Playing Fallout 4, I feel, walking down the streets, I feel like there is a history in that parallel universe Boston that isn't the same Boston as we have here. But I still feel like there's history there. Put the NPCs aside, you find things like the Women's Auxiliary Club. There's no living people. You feel like these people were real. You know it was pre-war, even though they don't have to mention any form of war or confrontation. They're talking about local crimes, diner shops, and getting drunk in the local hangout spot, with grandma. It's a great feel-good moment, which Fallout 4 doesn't have a lot of, but it gave you this real feel like, okay, there was a life in this area before the bombs fell, and most assuredly before the player, showed up. Then you go to What's the club? The Boister?
Yeah, the Boyston Club or something along those lines.
You know, where the elitists had their little suicide pact because they couldn't deal with the way the world had come or turned out after the war. And they were like, you know what? The life before the war was better, so we're done with this life. So you see that transition period. You have lives of the survivors, or not survivors, but descendants of survivors growing up in the wasteland.
You even do have lives of the survivors. Case in point, Daisy.
Yeah.
And Daisy isn't the only ghoul that you come across that was around.
Mm-hmm.
Ken.
Yep. Kent.
There's also the one who works for the Buttercup ponies.
Yeah, Arlen Glass.
Arlen Glass, yep.
You know, and not only are there the ghouls, but taking a point, Betty Fallon. She runs Fallon's Basement down in Diamond City.
Yep.
If you talk to her for just a quick minute, she references her grandpa and their family motto of quality and affordability. And so that right there gives you this sense of, okay, there was still life after the bombs that continued on, and here is the living continuation of it. The city, the area, the game, the world felt alive. Fallout 76, unless you run into another player, it doesn't feel alive at all, and when you run into another player, you know that they have no actual connection to this world, so you're all just a bunch of, for lack of a better term, you're all just a bunch of holograms with lasers in your hands. NPCs don't care about you, what NPCs there are, you know, the enemy NPCs. You're just another target to them. There's no prioritization, which Bethesda games aren't exactly known for to begin with, but if you're only going to give us enemy NPCs, kind of make them something unique. You know? You got anything on the whole feeling of the history of the game?
Besides the fact that it has none? Seriously. This whole everything is relayed through either robots or holotapes is annoying.
You know what would have been nice? I know you didn't play Skyrim, but there was one particular mission in Skyrim that I really enjoyed. And I'm going to tell you about it real quick, and I have no idea what the name of it is. Hopefully somebody will comment it in the section while cussing us out. So you go in and you find... I don't remember what triggered it, but a ghost shows up, and he leads you to this table. And at this table, you pick up an item, and then you and this ghost, who never says a word to you, never has a verbal conversation with you, he leads you through this dungeon, and he fights with you. You know, and his battle is just as effective as yours, you know, so he's got a body in sense. And then he leads you to this one little closet room. You open it up, and you find the skeleton dressed very much like him, clutching a book, and he's sitting on a rock. The ghost is just sitting on the rock, staring at the body. And all you can think to yourself is, damn, this is where you finally fell, my friend. So you pick up the book and you read it, and you find that he's essentially on a quest to slay an unrighteous king. So you finish the mission for him by his side. And even though he never says a word, the game did really good to make sure he was always in your view. You always saw him fighting with you. He always gestured to you in a camaraderie way, not a commanding way. You know, and so when it was finally over and you'd set him to peace, you know, you had this emotional moment where you're like, that was satisfying. Nothing in Fallout 76 feels satisfying other than the individual kills of super mutants, and that's only because I hate super mutants and my bias against them. Other than that, there is no actual satisfaction in what you do in the game. Like Rose.
Yeah, dear Bethesda, if you're going to send me on a search and find mission, don't give me 5 possible locations that are spread throughout the entire map. By the way, only 4 of which were actually showing up on my map.
Only to have one of them to have an actual what you're after. Moving on to the weapons. The weapon build-out in Fallout 4 has been proclaimed as one of the greatest things that Bethesda's ever done. I can't find anyone that truly despises Fallout 4's weapon system. Now, we all wish that it wasn't as limited as it is, but we do like the fact that you can modify any weapon and make it better than original, and we definitely like the fact, pay attention here Bethesda, that you can pocket your old mods.
Seriously, stepping outside of the game world and into reality for a moment, if I take the scope off of my bolt-action rifle, that scope is still perfectly good and can be put back on to any other long gun.
At least of a gun of the similar stature or style. But to sit there and be like, oh, you took the scope off and...
it'll permanently destroy it.
You're like, wait, why do I have to take a hammer to my scope to take it off? What did I do? Weld it on? And then even after you do all the mods to make your gun better than it was, you go through all these worthless mods. A true short barrel. Are you serious? You're going to give me a short barrel that has slightly better accuracy than a long barrel. Well, it's a true short barrel. I don't give a... Dude, you have a game that has a physics engine, but you're going to base your gun mods on your fifis?
Not just that, but that short barrel also weighs more than your long barrel.
Do you even math, bruh?
Clearly not, because a paperclip, or my bad, a bobby pin, when the game first launched, weighed what? A pound?
No, a tenth of a pound.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
Even after you do all these mods, your gun is still freaking barely any better. Like, not even, oh, well, it's kind of noticeable. It's not even noticeable. You're like, wait, why did I just scrap all of those other rifles to end up with a receiver that literally gives me 1 extra point of damage? It makes no sense.
On top of that, the fact that the weapons are leveled to begin with.
That's retarded.
That's retarded. But fine, you want to have level lock for weapons? Okay, we'll let that slide. However, if I have the ability to craft a level 20 lever gun, I should have the ability to take a level 10 lever gun and upgrade it
to a level 20. That would have been nice.
Without having to spend all of the same amount of resources as building a new gun.
Or why is it that I have a level 20 sawed-off shotgun that hits for 101? I just picked up a level 35 sawed-off that hits for 55. So, the kits. You got repair kits. I have scrap kits. Or not scrap kits, but you have scrap kits. I have the repair kits. Do you have any repair kits?
I have repair kits. I've used repair kits. I like the repair kits.
I love the repair kits. Oh my god. I will lose track of what I'm doing. I will break my damn lever gun, which is my favorite gun in the game. I will break the gun and finish the fight with another gun, and then, hey look, I don't have to go find a weapons bench. I can just take a quick minute, weigh my options. Do I have enough kits to justify spending one? Yes? Alright. I don't like spending them if I'm down to my last few. I know that sounds kind of stupid, but in case we get into a serious situation, and it's a long quest or something, and our best guns break, we need to be able to each repair them right then and there.
No,
you know what I mean? But if I have 6, 7, or case in point right now, I think I have 8. Oh yeah, my gun breaks. Pff, fix that. Thank you. Have a good day. What about the scrap kits?
So mind you, due to the fact that I carry so much in weight between guns, ammo, aid, and everything else, my junk pocket is relatively limited to begin with. I think in total, I have maybe 40 pounds of room for junk without taking any chems or alcohol.
Yeah, I find myself on drugs and alcohol all the time now.
And so, at first I was like, okay, the scrap kits should be kind of helpful. But they really just... they're minorly helpful, but they're in no way game breaking. I mean, anything that requires multiple button pushes to activate.
And don't get me wrong, I'm right there with you. I don't see how these repair kits and these scrap kits can be game breaking. One, unless you're playing Nuclear Winter hardcore all the time, what the hell are you whining about when it comes to the weight management system? But to sit there and say that these are going to be game breaking in a standard adventure game, no. No. The communication system.
Yes.
So, I don't know how many of you out there have had this problem, but allow me to explain the setup that we have. I have a first-gen PS4, and my little brother has a first-gen PS4 Pro. We literally live on opposite sides of a wall. Both of our systems are hardwired into a 1 gig internet, cable internet. So, we definitely don't have a connection problem on our end. And yet, for some reason, getting our two games to log in together and sync up is one of the most difficult things ever. Either A, the game doesn't want to recognize that we're trying to team up, or B, and this is the most common one or both will lose audio from the other. This almost half the time forces us to resort, even after restarting the systems, reloading the games multiple times, sometimes it just doesn't want to work at all, which forces us to go to PlayStation's party chat system, because we're not going to sit here and yell across our house. But then that causes its own audio problems, because whenever we say something in the mic, 76's sound completely drops out. And that is just infuriating and so immersion breaking. And we're barely able to hold the immersion of the game as it is.
Honestly, a better title for this game would have been Fallout, Immersion Breaker.
Fallout, the immersion breaking vault experiment. In conclusion, this is just two brothers bitching about 76. We'll have other things to bitch about, and we do apologize for the poor quality at the moment, but we promise to get better. Have a good day, everybody.